Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we finished verse 3 of chapter 8, where Krishna Bhagavan started answering the questions. And now we are on verse 4. So it's like a combination together, the 6 questions. So I'm going to since I already gave a lot of background and all that and everything, as we go, we will kind of revise the other ones also. So here is the verse 4. Adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushashchasti daivatam adhiyajño hame vatra dehe deha vrutam vara. Adhibhutam. Adhibhuta, and here in parentheses, material nature or elements. Kshara, perishable. Bhavaha, aspect. Hindi में हम बोलते हैं उसका भाव क्या है, तो the broad meaning is aspect or nature. Purushaha, the indweller or cosmic soul. And this word Anilji had asked, and it's a little bit technical word, so we will go much in detail what exactly it means here. Cha is and, Adhidaivatam. Adhideva, that which underlines all the divinities. Deva is divinities, and we'll see in what context. Adhiyajna, that which underlies all worships, and it has a much broader meaning. Aham is I, Eva is alone, Atra Dehe, in this body, Deha Bhrutam, of the embodied, means the Jiva. Vara, O noblest. He's telling Arjuna, you are the noblest. He really encourages him many times with such beautiful adjectives. So, remember, this is a subtle subject. So each term has a lot in it. So just stay with it and soak into it. And then in the end, we will get it. So we saw that in the previous verse, Bhagavan answered 3 questions. What was Brahma, Adhyatma, and Karma? And we saw the Karma definition was so incredible that what actually constitute a karma and others is just a waste of time. So, that should make us think kinds of things, we should or should not do, gives us a guideline. And now, in this one, 3 more questions are answered. So together, Bhagwan reveals a 6-fold expression of God. That's how we have to look at it. And anybody knowing all these 6 expressions can say that, hey, I know God in the totality. If you just know one aspect and you just keep focusing and deny the others, you don't know Bhagavan in totality. So very, very important. And then to bring the point across, Nikhilanandji, who is a master of examples, gave such a fantastic example. I'm sure you have heard of it. It's from our Vedanta only, this example, but it's become very popular in India. That 6 blind men trying to understand what an elephant is. You guys have heard of this? Whoever has, just nod, so I know that you have. Okay. Others will really enjoy this example if you have not heard it. So just think of it that there are 6 men who are like great philosophers, but they are blind. Okay. God forbid, but just an example. So now unke सामने एक elephant कोई ले आया, बोला बताओ ये क्या है? तो वो, they try to experience the elephant now, not seeing what it is. So they approach the elephant, and obviously if elephant is a very big animal, right? So if 6 people approach, they're going to approach him from all different sides. So they approach and then because they're blind, they start touching that, hey, what is this? So one who is standing near the trunk, so he touches the trunk and he says, this elephant looks like a tube-like thing, because a trunk is like a, long thing. So because he focuses so much on one aspect and he deeply try to understand it, which is not wrong, but he thinks that the entire elephant is like that. Okay? And then the one who is touching, say the leg, he will say, oh, ye to khambe jaisa hai. So he will define the elephant like a khamba, or a pillar. कोई पूंछ पकड़ लिया किसी ने, कोई पीछे था. So, they say, oh, it's like a rope. Just think, it's some imagination. So this is what's going to happen. So now all are expressing some part of elephant, but each one is only talking about one expression. And then, so if you put them together now, somehow, they kind of put their notes together and then they conceptualize what it is, it's still not going to be the right. Because, so it's going to be some hodgepodge over there, They might miss so many aspects of it. And so it will not be like an elephant. But the one who's got the eyes is like a knowledge. Eyes is compared to knowledge over here in this example. He will see the entire elephant. And he will see all, say, 6 aspects of it. Every side of it, uski poonch, uski pair, uske kaan, waan, sab dekhega wo. And he will understand what this elephant is and how does he express himself in all different varieties of way, he will know. So that's what this whole example, I thought it was such a fantastic example, So what happens is that the one who does not know the elephant in this particular example, in all its expression, will get confused about it. But one who knows elephant in all its aspect, वो आँखें भी बंद कर ले, तो भी उसको, he will be able to experience the elephant because he's seen it already. See what I'm saying? So this is how it is. And similarly, if we understand God in the totality, we will know that those who believe in Nirgun and Nirakar, they are talking about the same Brahman. The people who talk about Sagun and Sakar, they are talking about the same God. And those who talk about the creative power, oh, this world came in manifestation, or a world was created. You can use the word create if you want to. The power that is there. They're talking about the Shakti of that Bhagwan. They're also talking about the same God. And then, let's see, there's one more example he gave. And those who will say, look, I don't believe in all of that. I believe in myself. ठीक है. Okay, you believe in yourself? Your own self, the core of your own self is also Bhagwan. So he's talking about Bhagwan only. So I thought that this example was so fantastic, and how Nikhilanji related this to this whole thing. It really opens your eyes. So, and then suppose somebody says, okay, they're not thinking about any of that. They're talking about nature. Oh, look how powerful the nature is, and ये जो है ना theories होती हैं अपने modern science में, Big Bang and फलाना ढिकड़ा, all these kind of things. They're talking about nature only, right? So they are also talking about God. According to Vedanta, nature is also part of. No matter what part you look at, science, your personal ego or anything, everything just points to the same thing. So these are various aspects of the same reality. So keeping that in mind, let's move forward in this particular verse that he's talking about Adhibhuta, right? Now we are at Adhibhuta. Bhagwan is defining Adhibhuta. It's a very simple definition he gave, but it has a lot packed in it. Because in the previously he talked about Brahma, and he said he was Akshara Paramam Brahma. Remember from previous verse? So he used 2 adjectives. Akshara means that doesn't get destroyed or decay or modification doesn't happen. And Kshara is exactly opposite of it. So Adhibhuta, he calls it Kshara Bhavaha. That's how he defines it. So that means these 5 elements are of the nature of Kshara. They are constantly decaying, constantly changing, And when we experience this world, which is made up of these 5 elements, we see that they constantly undergo change, modification. That's its nature. That bhava word I use, that's its intrinsic nature of these 5 elements, that they constantly change. And then these main thing to remember is it's the expression of the same reality. So when we are experiencing this world, and we are actually experiencing the reality alone in that form. That's how we have to look at it. And if you go back to Bhagavad Gita, we are in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 10. That's how Krishna Bhagavan is going to tell Arjun, because Arjun was like, okay, you said, yeah, I should think about God. And we are here also in this class where we were talking about, hey, how to think about God all the time. It's not possible, right? ऐसा लगता है हमको, it's not possible. But if you believe in this one, when you open your eyes, everything that you see, that is God, right? And when you close your eyes and within you go, that's also God. So either it's like open eye meditation or closed eye. It's the same thing. That's an advanced stage, but it is possible to see God everywhere if you understand what he's talking about over here. So coming back to this Kshara Bhava, that this nature of this world is to constantly changing, but we know, and a lot of repetition is going to happen. This is how it soaks into you. That, we know that a supreme reality is beyond all change. So now go back to that, para and apara prakriti. Okay? So everything kind of gels over here, that, there is a changing aspect of Bhagwan, non-changing. And then another very, very important thing is they are not two different entities. It's just the same reality appearing like a changing world. That's another very important thing. Because the moment we say two things, हम लोग ऐसे divide कर देते हैं. That's why in our Puranic stories they say Radha Krishna is one. कितनी बार सुना है हमको, समझ में नहीं आता. How can they be? There are two people. No, एक को दो में विभाजित कर दिया बस, और कुछ नहीं. So that's what it is. So, and then example, again, Nikhilananji came up with this very nice example that they use a lot in Vedanta also, that sun rays are actually white, right? But it can come into 7 colors. If you pass it through a prism, it becomes 7 colors. So same way that, these great elements, they are Bhagwan only, but when they come, they express themselves, they become this vast world. So many different aspects to it. That's what it is. So, and then constantly changing, constantly dying, the Kshara Bhava, there are many things packed into it, undergoing modification. And now if you think about it, even actually it doesn't get destroyed, okay? It just changes form. That's another very important thing. And scientifically also they say matter you cannot destroy. It can change form. हम लोग को लगता है देखने में कि destroy हो रहा है. It's like किसी कोई बर्फ ले लो, बर्फ का सिल्ली ले लो, और पहले it is a big form is there, hard and all that, and then ice I'm talking about, and then you start heating it and it will melt and it'll change the shape, right? Change is happening, become liquid from hard, and now you keep giving more heat and then it will वो बाष्प बन के उड़ जाएगी, and we say, oh, it got बर्फ की सिल्ली got destroyed, but that water form में अभी भी है वो. That's how, but हमारी दृष्टि में और हमारे experience में वो क्षय होता जाता है. And then the other aspect is that this whole universe with its material nature, even more than a fraction of second it doesn't remain the same. हम लोग को लगता है कि हम same चीज को देख रहे हैं, मगर नहीं. And we have discussed it, and our body also, we discussed it, that it, when I wake up tomorrow morning, मेरे को लगा I'm the same person. But how many cells have died and how many new ones have come, only scientists वो भी नहीं जान पाएंगे, but at least उनको ये आभास है कि ऐसा होता है. Okay, and then he also made one comment which was kind of interesting. He's saying we all want to live permanently in this world, but we know, because we call it security होना चाहिए, कुछ होना चाहिए, but we cannot, because our body is made of kshara, so it is gonna go. So these are the things that to contemplate upon, because that is the very nature of the world. And there is a very, very famous saying of Chinmayanandji, and I think Meena ji and Sushil ji will know this. He made a statement, change is the changeless law of this world. Okay, change is the changeless law. Imagine, it's such a deep thinking. So everybody should remember this one. If I had a board, I would have written this, because that's what I do. I write it on the top, because this explains everything. Then we will not be complaining about anything. But it's hard sometimes to remember. But as more we remember, more we will be okay. So coming back to the thing that changing world is also expression of God. That's the conclusion. Okay? And then the next word he discusses in this one is Adhidevam. And here, Anilji, your question will be answered. So Bhagwan refers to this Adidev as a Purusha. So from one aspect, Purusha is also expression of that supreme reality. So when we say pure consciousness, technically usko Purusha nahi bolte, but once in a while in the Upanishad, I have seen them use the word Purusha for that. They take that liberty. But if you go super technical in Vedanta, somebody has the exact definition, then once that Maya aspect comes and mixes with this, or with the pure Brahman, then it's called Purusha. Okay, just remember that. So, and then we have used the word, the cosmic universal person, Hiranyagarbha. So Hiranyagarbha, और हम लोग दूसरा टेक्निकल वर्ड है ईश्वर. When वेदांत में जिसको ईश्वर बोलते हैं ना, वो उसको कर्म फल दाता वगैरह भी बोलते हैं, because he is now expressed, the super reality is expressed, as this universe in a subtle form, total form, total mind and all. There's so many different words. It's called Hiranyagarbha, and that's called Purusha. So उसको ना अधिदेव बोला है यहाँ पे, Purusha को. And we'll see why, because this cosmic person is actually controlling everything, or our minds and our everything is intellect is connected with it. Even though I feel like I'm separate, we have discussed it many times that you have different equipment, electrical equipments are there. Each one is an independent equipment from one aspect, but the electricity that flows in it, that makes it function, coming from the powerhouse, and that's one. Electricity is one. Same way. And then Nikhilanandji actually gave another brilliant example. In our body, there are millions of cells, billions, God knows how much. I think my husband might be able to tell how many, I don't know. So, but each cell has an individual function also. It is like its own entity, but it is not completely independent, right? It's working for that body together. Body is a controller kind of thing, because when that jiva, when the subtle body quits, all those cells disintegrate completely, right? So that's how you have to see that there is this cosmic person, which is Hiranyagarbha, total mind, Purusha, whatever name you like, you can call it. That is all powerful, all knowing, Sarva Shaktiman, Sarvagya, and that is the Adidev in us. Okay? उसका अंश हमारे में है, जो वो जैसे कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पावर हाउस में है, एकदम पावरफुल है, लेकिन उसका थोड़ी सी धारा एक इक्विपमेंट में जा रही है, वैसे हमको सोचना चाहिए कि that is coming. And also, just for technical purposes, this Purusha can be called a Saguna Brahma also. That's why उसका नाम Purusha दिया है. Because, and then there is a Purush Suktam also in our Vedas and all that. They're describing this Purusha. So, coming back to the whole thing, that, the Brahman that is Nirguna and Nirakar, Aksharam, that is the same Brahma when it comes in a expresses in a jiva called Adhyatma or Atma, you can say. And the same Brahma, when it expresses as a creative power, then it becomes, creates this world. The same Brahman, when it expresses in the world, then 5 elements, come in, what you would call, uski rachna ho jati hai, or it expresses as a 5 element. And the same power expresses as a Ishwar or a Hiranyagarbha. And this cosmic person controls all the beings. And now, the same Brahman is also expressed as Adhiyagna. Next word is Adhiyagna. What is Adhiyagna? So Adhiyagna is an individual jiva. So individual jiva, when this particular jiva identifies with the body and mind, and then kind of creates his separate personality for itself. Like we are over here, right now 15 people or whatever. We all have a distinct personality. Right? So, and then if whoever you meet, everybody has a distinct personality. And this personality performs various types of actions. And then, in our life, we get results of the action. So all that hoopla that is happening in our life, that is also expression of the same reality. And Adi Yagna is, because the way Bhagwan, this is a subtle subject. So the way he expresses is, I alone am the Adi Yagna. That's what he says in this verse. In this body, Adi Yagno aham matra dehe. This word is atra dehe. Sorry, not matra. What am I saying? Yeah, each word is saying Adi Yagna aham eva atra deve. मैं ही सिर्फ हूँ इस रूप में, Adi Yagna के रूप में, in this body. So how do we interpret this? That in this body is like, whatever functions are happening, it's getting powered by that same. Perception is that I'm seeing things and I'm contemplating, I'm thinking, all जितनी भी activities हमारे में हो रही है ना, वो उसके power द्वारा हो रही है. So that's why Bhagwan alone is involved in it. Like Chinmayanand ji used to say, that कोई बहुत बड़ा किरदार होगा, समझो कोई साइंटिस्ट है, कोई आर्टिस्ट है, कोई ये वो वर्ल्ड फेमस एंड ऑल दैट, everything is happening within him because the Bhagwan is expressing through him. Moment the person jiva quits, no matter how great you are, you become dust. So uska power कितना है देखो, so the power वो वहाँ से आ रहा है. अधि यज्ञ हमारे में जो यज्ञ हो रहा है, हमारे एक पोएटिक लैंग्वेज में समझो एक्सप्रेस किया हुआ है, अधि यज्ञ हो रहा है हमारे में, वो सब उसका पावर वहीं से आता है. So these are the 6 important expressions of it. Okay, so then everybody should remember the 6 ones now, because we have hashed it out so many times. Now I'm going to one last time summarize it too, so it just kind of goes deep into our mind. So first was Brahma, second was Adhyatma, third was Karma, and then was Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, and Adhiyagna. So these are the things. Okay? So just to summarize the whole thing, so it kind of stays with us, that Param Brahma, that supreme reality, Nirgun Nirakar, which is beyond all names and form, and which is Paramam. Usko Paramam bola na, Aksharam Paramam. So that same Brahma alone is myself, that with the capital S, my Atma. And then my own consciousness is not different from that Brahma. That's another way you can look at it. And that Brahma alone is the creative power that projects the world. And that creative power is an expression of that Brahma, which is in each one of us also. So that's another way to remember it. Like the creative power is there, the cosmic level, and the creative power within us. And then we have that power to act, you can say. That's also an expression of Brahma. And then same Brahma expressed as the 5 elements in the cosmic world. And so it's not only the power to create, but it also expresses at the world. Material also usi se aata hai, like I was talking about. That, how the Makadi has a material, takes it out of itself. And then the Adhibhuta, and this world is Adhibhuta, and the Ishvara part, yes, the Hiranyagarbha who controls and regulates. Okay, because koi sochega ki ye yahan par bada chaos hai. No, it's not called a chaos, it's called cosmos for a reason. But there is a harmony in there, there's a control in there. हम लोग को ऐसा लगता है कि chaos है, मगर यहाँ बहुत कुछ, हर एक 5 elements का बड़े strict rules है. तभी तो साइंस भी प्रोग्रेस कर सकता है. अगर स्ट्रिक्ट रूल नहीं होएगा, इफ एयर विल नॉट एक्ट लाइक अ एयर, यू विल नेवर बी एबल टू डू एनीथिंग. So there's a lot of harmony and lot of control is there. And that controller is that Ishvara Hiranyagarbha. And then all the activity in this world is that power is coming from that Adideva and Purusha. And in the individual, when he performs action and gets result and everything, वो Adhi Yagna हो रहा है. And that is, उसके पीछे भी भगवान ही है. So this is how Bhagwan replies these 6 questions in these 2 verses briefly. And the 7th question, he's going to explain in detail now, from now on. Next verse will start with the 7th question. Remember what it was, that at the time of death, how do I recognize you? So, and Nikhilanand ji made a very interesting observation. He said that the entire chapter in some ways is focused for that seventh question. So you will see in so much detail that by the time we finish, you will know what I should be doing, how I should be living my life, and what I should be doing at the end of my life. वह होगा या नहीं वो ऊपर वाला जाने. You know, विधि पूरी बता दी उन्होंने. So it's काफी he will go in detail and all that. And why did he do that? Because obviously Bhagwan thought it's a very important thing. So we have to give it importance. Because Bhagwan gave it that much importance that ये 7 क्वेश्चन पूछे और दो वर्सेस में 6 फटाफट बता दिए उन्होंने और सारा बाकी चैप्टर उन्होंने चैप्टर वो 7th क्वेश्चन में लिया है. That is very, very, we know it will come prayana kale word is, time of death. So before, he ended his, discourse on this particular verse, he made a very interesting comment. He's saying that does not mean that we should, wait to realize Bhagwan at the time of death. He said, चलो अभी मजा कर लो, जब मरेंगे तब हम लोग साधना करेंगे. नहीं ऐसा नहीं. लेकिन on the other side of it is, at the time of death also you can get this. You can know and recognize God. So both you have to remember. And how it's possible, he was going to tell us. But anyway, we are focused on this verse now for the 3 things. So this is what we are going to focus on today. Just read the rest of it. Any question, comment? Anybody want to add anything on this Adi Bhut, Adi Dev and Adi Yagna? Krishna ji, you have something to say? You can't. You have to unmute, Krishna ji. Nobody can hear you right now. हाँ, बोलो.
वो एक दृष्टांत बताते हैं ना कि कोई ट्रेन में चढ़ा तो वो जो बैग थी ना अपने सर पे लेके बैठ गया, खड़ा रहा. तो सब उसको बोल रहे थे कि भाई ये क्या कर रहा है तू, बैग सर पे क्यों रखी है, ट्रेन तेरे को लेके जा रही है तो उसमें रख दे ना, तो ट्रेन तेरी बैग भी लेके जाएगी. तो द दृष्टांत सेज भाई हम लोग भी ऐसे ही हैं. हम इस सफर में चढ़े हैं तो अपना जो बोझा सर पे नहीं रखें.
Yeah, very, very good दृष्टांत.
भगवान पे रखे, उतार दे. वो जीवन चला रहा है, ट्रेन चल रही है तो वो हमारा बोझा भी वही उठा के चलेगा.
वो उठाता ही है. और आपने जो बोला ना उसका एग्जैक्ट वर्स आने वाला है चैप्टर 9 में, where भगवान will say that if you surrender to me, I take care of your yoga and kshema. And that's exactly that Gatri wali baat ki I will take care of what you need and I'll protect it.
Yeah,
so that's what he's going to talk about. So it's coming.
जैसे क्रिएटर तो है, अगर क्रिएटर पे दृष्टि जाती है तो क्रिएशन ही हैज क्रिएटेड.
Yes.
तो उसकी याद में ही जीवन गुजरा ना, फिर सुबह शाम जो भी है. आज टेबल देखते हैं तो पक्का है कारपेंटर ने बनाई है. तो ऐसे ये जो प्रकृति भी बनी है, जो भी रचना है, कि क्रिएटर पे दृष्टि डालो तो फिर उसकी याद में जीवन गुजरता है.
यस. और जो आपने क्रिएशन का बोला ना, तो एक्चुअली मैं हरे कृष्णा में जाती हूँ ना, तो वहाँ पर they also have one lecture and all that. Sometimes they say very interesting दृष्टांत and all that, because they look at it from the Western perspective too, because they have all studied the Western thing and now they have studied Eastern. So their lectures have some interesting expressions of how they explain things. So he was just saying, and they are a little bit crude sometimes too. They will mock. हम लोग में हिम्मत नहीं होती किसी को मॉक करने की, बिकॉज चलो सब अपनी अपनी जगह ठीक है. सो उसने बोला कि ये जो बिग बैंग थियरी है ना, एक तरह से ऐसी थियरी है कि तुमने एक बॉम्ब लिया और ऐसे फेंका ऊपर, और जोर से धमाका हुआ और फिर ऐसे सृष्टि बन गई. ये घर बन गया, ये बन गया, वो बन गया. ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है विदाउट क्रिएटर? कुछ हार्मनी होनी चाहिए. कोई एक चीज को तुम पकड़ लो, कितना उसमें हार्मनी है, कि कैसे बना हुआ है, कि छोटी से छोटी एक सेल को भी ले लो, उसमें इतना इंफॉर्मेशन है, इतना ये. तो एवं ही कि जब धमाका हुआ और हो गया, इट साउंड्स सो लूडिक्रस. ही वाज सेइंग कि जब तक उसके पीछे कोई कॉस्मिक इंटेलिजेंस नहीं होगा, मतलब you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see this, right? So some things that they told us, and then sometimes they say, they said भगवान ने वो गोवर्धन क्या बोलते हैं, पर्वत कैसे उठा लिया, अपनी उंगली पे हमें ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है. पीपल नए नए लोग आते हैं तो इन लोग के पास सारे जवाब होते हैं. तो बोलते तुम ये धरती को देखो, किसने उठाया इसको, कैसे घूम रही है, इतनी सारी बड़ी वाली और पता नहीं इतने बड़े बड़े है. तो बोले अगर वो ऐसे छोड़ फेंक सकता है धरती को, घूम रही है मस्ती से, वो नहीं कर सकता क्या? अगर वो ह्यूमन फॉर्म में आ गया तो वो तो कुछ भी कर सकता है, राइट? तो कितना फैंटास्टिक जवाब दिया उसने.
एक्सपीरियंस किया है तो अनुभव की वाणी होती है ना.
राइट. बट इसका भी कोई लॉजिक, नोबडी कैन डिनाई इट कि भाई कि there is some kind of force is there and this person has a control over the force, so he can do it.
इसलिए शास्त्र है ना, वेद.
Yeah.
If you give example of those, so no one will deny.
Because there's a lot of logic and science and it will take you through it. Sure. In the end, there will be people, तुम उनके सामने 1000 लॉजिक रख लो, उनके सामने वो तो फिर भी सर ही हिलाते रहेंगे, but उनका कोई इलाज नहीं है फिर. They can just believe what they want. What can you do? Nothing you can do. But anyway, this is for us because we have Shraddha, we're trying to understand, and I think Bhagwan is very logical, how he said, expressed everything. But any other comment or question? Anyone wants to add anything? Everybody clear on those 6 terms?
Only comment I had was the example you gave of elephant.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same example Ramakrishna gave, that a blind man comes and describes the elephant, and somebody describes his trunk, and somebody a snake, the tail.
Mm-hmm.
So he said the idea is everybody who sees God and all the religions who have described God, they've seen through this small hole a portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all correct, but
yeah,
not describing the whole thing.
Yeah. So
that was his example,
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's why I think Bhagavad Gita is like, उसको सारा उपनिषद बोला गया, right? भगवान ने उसमें सब कुछ बताया है. और इसीलिए भक्ति योग एंड ज्ञान योग एंड कर्म योग एंड राज योग, एवरीथिंग इज देयर. पर अगर कोई एक चीज में फिक्सेट हो जाता है ना, उसको भगवद गीता भी वैसी लिखने लग है. ओ इट इज ओनली भक्ति, उसमें तो भक्ति प्रधान है, कोई बोलेगा कर्मी प्रधान है, कोई बोलेगा हे एवरीथिंग हैज अ प्लेस ऑफ इट. And in your life, you might need all of those depending on what you're doing, right? And I was thinking about that shloka that we learnt about, arth and artharthi and jigyasu and ज्ञानी. So भगवान ने बोला ज्ञानी is, पर हम लोग कितने भी ज्ञानी हो जाए, जब तक हमारा शरीर है और उसमें कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाता है तो हम लोग आर्थ बन जाते हैं. तो इट्स ओके, राइट? तो अपने माँ बाप से नहीं मांगेंगे हम लोग तो किससे मांगेंगे, कुछ जरूरत होगी तो इवन दैट इज ओके. सो एकदम से कोई ऊंचाई पे पहुंच गया जिसको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता हो शरीर में कुछ भी, हम लोग उस स्टेज में नहीं पहुंचे हैं. कुछ गड़बड़ होता है तो भगवान याद आता है कि भाई हेल्प मी टू गेट बेटर, सो everything has its place and time, and the formulas are given, so we can just use all of it for our benefit. That's how I look at it. Okay, so shall we read? No other comment? Any volunteer to read that half of this commentary we finished, another half is there? Okay, Anil ji, you want to read then? It starts with this Adhibhuta.
Right. The Adhibhuta is the perishable existence. As a contrast to the imperishable, Akshara is the perishable equipment, Shra, the word of Prakriti, through which the potential dynamism, vigor and glory of the infinite self express themselves. Between the Shra and Nakshara, there is as much difference as between a steam engine and the steam, a running car and the horsepower in the petrol, a singing radio and the electric current. In short, by the term perishable, Shra, the whole world of phenomena of the universe is indicated. Subjectively, the equipments of cognition, feeling and perception constitute in the main the destructible or the perishable factors in us.
So Swamiji summarized in a very beautiful way with a very interesting angle, the entire thing. So there are two things, Kshara and Akshara. So Akshara is that higher reality, or Para and Apara. Mein Para is Akshara and Apara is Kshara. Both are needed to express this world. So what प्रकृति से के द्वारा भगवान अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस कर रहे हैं, ऐसा भी देख सकते हैं तुम. और उन्होंने कितना अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया कि स्टीम इंजन और स्टीम. तो जो स्टीम इंजन है वो प्रकृति है, वो क्षरा है, और स्टीम इज अक्षरा. इट इज पावरिंग इट. सो उसके जैसे स्टीम इंजन कितना भी बड़ा हो और इतना पावरफुल हो, जब तक स्टीम नहीं जाएगी कुछ नहीं होने वाला उसमें. वैसे का वैसे ही पड़ा रहेगा. एंड ऑल्सो द ट्रूथ इज that steam by itself cannot do anything either. If you want steam to express, it needs the engine. So now you see how they complement each other. That's why it's like Shiva and Shakti. They say without Shakti, Shiva is Shava. You heard of that? Because it can't do anything. Okay? And that's why the Shakti and mother and all those power is so important in India. And then we saw that the perishable nature is the Kshara. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Adideva is the indweller. The term indweller, Adideva, is used to indicate the special faculty that presides over each apparatus of knowledge and activity in the living creatures. The presiding deities of the sense organs of the mind and of the intellect are called the Devatas, which are nothing other than the faculty of vision in the eyes, the faculty of audition in the ears, the power of smelling in the nose, and so on.
So Swamiji explained in a very, very scientific manner this indweller or the Adideva, special faculty or Purusha, that we have these Indriyas. And there is a devata behind each indriya which makes it possible to happen. And our teacher used to give this example. It sounds gross सुनने में, मगर जैसे आँख है, आँख देखती है, लेकिन ऐसे आँख को कोई टेबल पे रख दे तो नहीं देख पाएगी. It has to be connected to our body, and there is a power inside it, and that's how. And then also we know that the Adidev over there is this light. You need some kind of light. या तो moonlight or starlight or sunlight से आती है moonlight भी. तो you need that to see. तो वो अधिदेव हो जाता है in a technical manner. But वो sun का भी power कहाँ से आ रहा है? भगवान से आ रहा है. So that's another way you can look at this Adideva. There are many different ways you can look at it. And Swamiji explained the special faculty in each one of us, that the faculty of vision in our eyes, faculty of audition in the ear, and power of smelling in the nose is Adideva. And one more thing that I missed on the previous previous paragraph that I wanted to bring to your attention, that it said the equipments of cognition, means our mind and intellect, feelings, perception, also are of destructible and perishable factor in us. So हम लोग कितना उसको importance देते हैं ना? So hey, that's Kshara. Don't give that. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हम लोग कुछ उसको use नहीं करें, but use it like an equipment. That's what we have to remember. It's hard to do, but that's what.
Adi Yagna here in this body, I alone am. We have already seen that the Yagna here means the act of perception, feeling, or thought. As in the Yagna, here also oblations, the sense objects are poured into the Yagna altar, the sense organs. When the Devata, the particular faculty in it gets propitiated and invoked, and as a blessing from it we gain the fruit thereof, like the knowledge of the perception. In this Adi Yagna, in the subjective Yagna act of perception, it is quite evident that the one vital factor that dominates the entire activity is the self, the principle of life.
So Adi Yagna, ये थोड़ा सा difficulty होती है समझने में, right? क्या है? So यज्ञ हम लोग बोलते हैं यज्ञ, नॉर्थ इंडिया में यज्ञ जो होता है ना, उसमें आहुति डालते हैं एंड कुछ उसका फल मिलता है. सो हमारे शरीर में भगवान ने कहा है कि मैं ही अधियज्ञ हूँ हर एक शरीर में, सिर्फ मैं ही हूँ, ऐसा लैंग्वेज उन्होंने यूज़ किया. तो हमारे शरीर का जो यज्ञ चल रहा है कि हम लोग की जब जो 5 इंद्रियां हैं, जैसे 5 पंडित हों, जस्ट लुक एट इट दैट वे. बोलते हैं कि यज्ञ में 5 पंडित बिठाते थे. 5 हमारी इंद्रियां हैं, वो आहुति ला रही हैं, एंड पोरिंग इट इन देयर. हमको सब समझ में आ रहा है एंड ऑल दैट. तो ये एक यज्ञ चल रहा है, उसके पीछे मैं ही हूँ. दैट्स हाउ यू हैव टू लुक एट इट. दैट मेक्स इट क्लियर.
By giving these definitions, the Lord is, on the whole, suggesting, with a subtle undercurrent of the implications, that the eternal self alone is the real, and that all else are delusory supreme impositions upon it. Therefore, to know the self is to know everything, and having known the eternal as one's own real nature, one is free to act or not to act, and to play or not to play in any field of the not self.
So he's just telling you that that consciousness or this reality, that's the one real, and everything else is a superimposition upon it, appearing, disappearing, whatever is happening. And once you know, you get established in that highest self, then you become totally free. तुमको जन्म लेना है तो तुम लोगे, नहीं लेना है नहीं लोगे, तुम्हारा कंट्रोल होएगा कंप्लीट. मतलब यू वांट टू डू समथिंग यू कैन डू, डोंट वांट टू डू. इट्स लाइक कोई एक बहुत बड़े संपत्ति का मालिक हो और उसके पास खूब सारा धन हो ताकि वो सब कुछ कर सके अपनी ज़िंदगी में. वो काम करे या नहीं करे उसकी मर्जी है. अब उसको खाने पीने के लिए काम करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. मे बी अ पुअर एग्जाम्पल, बट आई एम सेइंग वो अपनी मर्जी का मालिक हो जाता है. वैसे ही जस्ट टेलिंग यू that the highest level, what happens.
Umaji, here the last word, not self, is it the same as adibhuta?
Yes, exactly. You got it right now. You can say apara prakriti or adibhuta. Exactly.
An individual who lives in the awareness of this knowledge, ever conscious of the play of the self at all levels of his personality, physical, mental, and intellectual, such an individual naturally comes to experience himself as a divine witness, observing the very process of death that clips off, layer by layer, his self-chosen connections with the not-self.
So I know this is a little mystical language as Swamiji himself used, but he's just telling you that once who becomes aware of this entire process and understand Bhagwan with all 6 aspects and all that, then he becomes a witness. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, that witness in us is that Bhagwan. And then he's saying that even if जो उन्होंने बोला ना, process of death that clips off layer by layer, the self-chosen connection with with the non-self, means दूसरे ढंग से बोला ना कि नेति जिसको बोलते हैं, ये भी भगवान ने, ये भी भगवान ने, ये भी भगवान ने. तो अगर उसको कुछ होता भी है तो he knows कि he doesn't get disturbed. That's why the saints and sages, अभी हम लोग के पास वो वैसी मेंटल शक्ति आई नहीं है कि भाई उनको कोई फिजिकल बीमारी वगैरह भी होते हैं, they don't get phased. हम लोग ऊपर नीचे कूदने लगते हैं ना कुछ होता है तो, मगर ये लोग बड़े established, because they are established in it. That's why it is. They can be a witness, they can be an observer. We get still, हम कितना भी सीख ले, हम लोग अभी भी conditioned हैं. But I guess it gets a little better. That's what.
And it's very interesting, the last line, self-chosen connections.
Yeah.
किसी ने नहीं कहा कि भाई तुम ही, nobody puts it on us.
हम लोग, we. And it is self-chosen disconnection also. जो हमको करना होता है दोनों तरफ से, राइट. एंड आई थिंक दैट व्हेन इट कम्स टू किसी ने बोला नहीं हम लोग ही पकड़ लेते हैं वो दैट दृष्टांत, आई लव इट सो मच एंड आई मे हैव यूज्ड इट, बट देयर आर सम न्यू पीपल इन द क्लास, सो आई विल यूज दैट दृष्टांत. दैट देयर वाज वन मैन हु अप्रोचेस महात्मा एंड ही सेज, मैं तो बहुत परेशान हूँ, बस मेरे को ये सारी दुनिया मेरे को परेशान कर रही है, ये करो वो करो, एंड परेशान हो गया हूँ मैं तो एकदम, तो मेरे को कोई उपाय बताओ. सो देन नहीं, अभी कल सुबह आना. अभी नहीं बताऊंगा, कल सुबह बताऊंगा, इतने टाइम दे दिया उसको. जब वो आया तो वो एक पेड़ पकड़ के हग करके खड़े थे महात्मा. You heard it, right? But other people who have not say, what are you doing? Why you're holding this tree? Saying, oh, I can't leave. Please help me. You say, Mahatma ji, you don't know that much. Tree is not holding you. You are holding the tree. Leave it. Come down. You think that's what tera answer hai? The world is not, holding you. You are holding the world. Because we always, even I sometimes think, oh my God, ye hai, wo hai, and I completely forget that disconnection power Bhagwan has given it to us. We just don't know how to use it yet, And that's what Bhagwan called Vairagya in Bhagavad Gita anyway. When he said the person is Vairagi, means you don't give that importance to the connection like we do. So I thought there was a lot packed in this. Yeah, go ahead, Anilji.
The most interesting thing is, as we lose these connections, we feel so much better.
Yeah.
Yet it is so hard to leave the connections.
So it is like what Krishna ji said, we are putting our gut tree down when you lose a connection. It's not like we are not, gut tree is still there. We can use it when we want to, right? So nobody is saying that run away or do something or your family is there and all that. But जो हम लोग को बोझ लगता है ना, वो नहीं होना चाहिए. That's the difference, I think. Because Bhagwan is not telling कि connection छोड़ के सब गुफा में बैठ जाओ. He's just telling कि वो internal mind से connection उसका तोड़ना पड़ेगा हम लोग को.
That is the detachment.
Yeah, detachment. And then in the end have the prasad buddhi that whatever happens is because of whatever he thinks that it should happen.
So you want me to read the next line?
Yes, please.
What happens to one who leaves the body in the awareness of the self? Listen.
See how Swamiji has explained it so beautifully. Leaves the body in the awareness of the self. That is not like Bhagwan ka naam le liya. Agar hum log koi Krishna bhi karenge, we don't know who Krishna is. Then again, it's not going to happen. Think about it. Okay, I think that this particular entity is Bhagwan, and if I say then it has to be self-awareness for all these 6 aspects. Means totally convinced that whatever we are seeing is superimposition and the reality is the main thing, and I am that kind of deep awareness. Yeah. So I think that every Swami has his own way of expressing these verses. And for us, all are important, right? Then we can, if we hear a few different kinds of explanation, then it sinks in more. Any other thing about Bhagavad Gita? We have a few minutes, or if not...
I totally love your example of that Guru holding the tree,
It's a very simple example, but very powerful. That's why I remember it always. I thought, wow, what a fantastic example. Because हम लोग को हमेशा ऐसे ही लगता है कि everybody is, piling up on me and I'm, whatever. But it's like, it's our problem actually. And in the Western world also, they have these terms, create your boundary and falana dikra. They do say, psychology में बोलते हैं, Like suppose in the relationship also or something, it's becoming very difficult for people. So then you have to create your boundary. They call it, right? It's the same concept is there. But here Bhagwan is explaining in a much, much deeper way. Okay. So I'm going to close Bhagavad Gita here. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.